Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, June 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and welcome to Second Sight Radio. I'm Victor the Voice Furman, and psychic medium Chris George will be joining us shortly as he was attending his son JoJo's ball game and is on his way to join us now. For those of you who do not know, Chris is the doting father of two beautiful daughters and their younger brother JoJo, and JoJo is having an amazing year as a little leaguer, and his games are so great, and Chris absolutely does not ever want to miss them. You're listening to Second Sight Radio on the D.T.M. wickedradio.com, and I'm going to ask you to bear with me for a minute because what we're doing right now is we are broadcasting for D.T.M. tonight. Our friends Denny and Tiff, their network is having an issue because their internet is down, and so they're having some problems. So I'm actually doing this for the first time, manning it, and I'm experiencing some technical difficulties. So I'm going to try and get our guest on right now, if you bear with me for 1 second. Eden, are you there?
I am here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Very good. So now we're going to continue with the show. Let me just say that you can find us both on Facebook. Chris's page is Psychic Medium Chris George. Mine is Victor the Voice Furman. Like our pages and find out the latest in the world of Second Sight, and also join our Second Sight group on Facebook for more on the paranormal. Now, last week on Second Sight, our guest was the amazing C.J. Martis, the author of the amazing book Angel Incarnate One Birth. It's a wonderful book, and she's an equally wonderful woman. She's an angel communicator, reader, spiritual visionary, and the latest member of our spiritual family. That's when we reconnect with people that we know we've traveled with before, the spiritual path, and it's wonderful to have these reunions. Her book and other information about her appearances and services are available on the website angelincarnate.com. That's angelincarnate.com. And on my Church of Second Sight, we'll explore the phenomena that both CJ and I have experienced. We'll talk more about that in the second hour. In the meantime, birthdays this week, because Chris always does a birthday segment, so I'm doing a birthday segment this week. The birthdays are Tom Jones. He's 75 and still driving the women crazy. Now, I don't know which of you members of our audience tonight are old enough to remember Leave It to Beaver, but Ken Osmond was the actor who played Eddie Haskell. He was the nemesis to the Beav on Leave It to Beaver, and he turned 72 this week. Actor and humanitarian Liam Neeson is 63. My wife, Laurie Sue, had the pleasure of interviewing him in London a few years back at the world premiere of the Chronicles of Narnia, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, in which he voiced the Lion King, Oslo. Guitarist Dave Navarro, remember Alice in Chains, is 48. And comic actor Jerry Stiller, who sadly just lost his wife and partner of so many years, Ann Mira, a few weeks ago, turns 88. And those are our birthdays this week. We're going to come to our guest, Eden Scott Cross, in a couple of minutes, but please stay tuned. This is Second Sight Radio on the D.T.M. Wicked Radio Network. Stand by.
The historical Fort William Henry Conference Center and Resort is a proud sponsor of D.T.M. Wicked Radio. If you're looking for a relaxing getaway, the historical Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination. Come enjoy the beautiful mountains, the gorgeous lake, and everything Lake George has to offer in upstate New York, right off the Adirondack Mountains. For reservations, you can go to www.fortwilliamhenry.com or call 1-800-234-0267. The Fort William Henry Resort and Conference Center is your destination for the perfect getaway.
We now rejoin a typical paranormal investigation, already in progress.
Welcome back, friends, to hour number 6 of our one-room colonial farmhouse investigation. We have a new group joining us, So let's get right to it. Sir, would you like to ask a question?
If there's someone here with us, can you please give us a sign of your presence?
Very good, very good. And you, young lady, I see you have some dowsing rods there.
Can you cross these for yes and separate them for no?
Well done. And you there in the generic black shirt group t-shirt, is there something that you'd like to know?
Yeah. How was them pull-up chicks in the sack?
Tired of the same old boring paranormal shows? Then come join the party. Paranormal After Party chronicles the exploits of the generic black shirt group, a team of paranormal investigators that uncover the serious and sometimes lighter sides of the paranormal. The evidence is real, and the rest is real fun. Find them on the web at www.paranormalafterparty.tv.
Don't stop living just 'cause you're dead.
And welcome back to Second Sight Radio. I'm just trying to get Chris on with us. Eden, you still there?
I am.
Okay, we're having a few technical difficulties, for which I'm really sorry for. Chris should be joining us momentarily. I'm just trying to bring him in. I see I sent him a message. I think he's coming in. Stand by 1 second. Let's see if this is Chris now. Let's see, is this Chris? Hold on 1 second. Okay. Chris, is that you? Chris, is that you? Hello? Hello? Not Chris.
Mercury is in retrograde.
Mercury is, this has been a Mercury retrograde to be forgotten quickly once it ends. We're just waiting for Chris to join us now. And while we're waiting for Chris to dial in, I just want to remind you that you're listening to DTMWickedRadio.com. This is Victor the Voice Furman, Second Sight Radio. We're waiting for Chris George to join us, psychic medium Chris George, who will be with us momentarily. And our guest tonight is Eden Scott Cross, and we're going to be talking about her in a couple of moments. Let's just see how Chris is progressing with the dial-in. I don't see him. There he is. I mean, is this Chris? Let's see if this is Chris. Hey, Chris, are you there? Hello? Hello. Hello and goodbye. It's not Chris. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for Chris to dial in, I'm just going to say that Eden Scott Cross is our guest tonight. Eden's early years were spent living in New Jersey, New York City, and Bucks County, Pennsylvania. There seems to be a lot of people who are from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, who have psychic abilities and special abilities. For some reason, I have my dear friend Edie Weinstein is down there, and she does. I believe I see Chris coming in now. Stand by. Chris, is that you?
I'm
here. Thank you.
I made it.
Chris, we are having all kinds of fun tonight. That little Skype effect connecting with the Blog Talk screen did not work properly, but I did our introduction, I did our birthdays, I did our plugs about our Facebook pages, and now I'm in the process of introducing Eden Scott Cross. But before I introduce her, why don't you come on and tell everybody about your wonderful son, JoJo, and the baseball game tonight?
Yeah, well, I'm not too happy with my little son tonight. He is not used to failure. Every game he's pitched this year, he's either pitched a no-hitter or a one-hitter. He struck out anywhere between 9 and 12 batters in every game. Tonight, he's pitching, and the umpire had a couple bad calls. They were bad. He called balls instead of strikes, and JoJo wound up walking 4 batters in a row. He struck out the first 2, then walked the next 4. He got so upset that he took himself out of the game, which obviously upset me greatly because, I've never taught him to quit on anything. And he was so upset that, the first time he ever in his life failed at anything. And I wouldn't even call it a failure. I mean, it's a friggin' 9-year-old baseball game, But he took it to heart. So I had a nice little, when he came back to the dugout, I explained to him how, you never walk off the field like that. It's not a good way to, it's not good sportsmanship, blah, 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 blah. Then I told him, I said, well, you want to make up for it? Go out there and hit the hell out of the ball. He's the 4th batter. There was a hit, there was 2 walks, and then he gets up and he hit a grand slam. So
wonderful.
He made up for it somewhat, but I'm still not happy that he walked off the field. But I will be discussing that with him this weekend. So that's my story. But I made it.
How old is this baseball star of yours?
He's 9. He plays in a 9, 10, 11-year-old division. He's the youngest kid in the league.
Well, I'd cut him a little slack, my friend. I'd cut him a little slack. I think he's doing just great.
No, he is doing great. I think he's the best player in the league. I mean, there might be one other kid that's, as good, or I don't even think he's as good. I think he's very good, but I think JoJo's the best player in the league, and he's the youngest player in the league. But that doesn't give you the right to quit on your team. I'm sorry. My father was a real stickler for, doing things the right way, and, you do things with respect, and that goes for playing a game. You got to be a good winner, you got to be a good loser, and, he needs to learn that, and I'm going to talk to him. Obviously, I'm not going to talk hard at him. I'm just going to explain to him that, you can't walk off the field on your team. That's quitting, and, that's unacceptable. So he'll be fine.
Gotcha, my friend. In any event, our guest tonight is Eden Scott Cross, and I said Eden's early years were spent living in New Jersey, New York City, and Bucks County, PA. Many of the homes she had that she and her family lived in were haunted. By age 7, Eden learned that in order to be accepted by other people, something we're going to talk about, including her parents, that she had to keep what she knew to herself and hide her abilities as a natural psychic medium. In her early teens, she had an amazing experience. Chris, you're going to die about this. She was befriended by our friend's father, our friend Alexandra Holzer's father, Hans Holzer, at age 17. And you can imagine that she actually was befriended by him. And I guess you studied with him, Eden. We'll talk more about that during the course of the interview. Can you imagine having Hans Holzer as a mentor, Chris? I mean, in my mind, that's like unbelievable.
That would be absolutely amazing.
That would send me to space, man, I'll tell you. At age 17, her family moved to Madrid, Spain, and then to London, England. It was in London that Eden met the revered healer Lily Cornford, who also became her mentor. And then after that, Eden returned to the U.S., and Lily Cornford remained as her mentor. Eden, folks, I'm a little flustered tonight because I had so many problems getting this connection going, but now that we're going, I'm going to be fine. Eden is clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. She has all the clairs, which means that she's like me. She's an A-clair. She hears, feels, and sees with her sixth sense. Through her gifts of psychic mediumship, she also communicates freely with the souls of both humans and animals who have crossed over into spirit, and also writes with spirit, which is known as automatic spirit writing. Eden specializes in animal communication, reading animals who are living as well as those who have crossed over into spirit. She also communicates with people who have crossed over and people who are in coma, and has worked on several murder cases for the police. During the past 36 years, Eden has been a full-time interior designer in partnership with her husband, Mark. And for the past 21 years, she's also been doing telepathic communication with animals, and was only known of by word of mouth until she was outed 4 years ago by a magazine. Oh, boy. Her Facebook page is Eden Cross, Animal Communicator. I've said enough. Welcome, everyone. Eden Scott Cross. Good evening, Eden.
Good evening, and thank you very much, Chris, Victor, for having me on your show.
Our pleasure.
Oh, it's a pleasure. We're happy to have you here. I'm excited about this show. I was so stressed out about getting here on time. I was only a few minutes late, so I'm kind of happy about that. Let's get the show going, Victor. I mean, I'm ready for this.
Go ahead, my friend. Take question 1.
Okay. So, Eden, when did you first realize that you had all of the special gifts and that there one significant event that brought it home for you? And was there one significant event?
Well, there was a significant time. I don't know that it was one specific event, but because it sort of, several things happened at the same time. But it wasn't until I was 40 years old that it really came to me, because when I was young, I was so good at hiding it that, and, there really wasn't anyone to talk to about it, because if I mentioned anything, people would look at me cross-eyed or be afraid of me, or, say I was making it up and I was kooky. So I kept that all so quiet, and when I started actually to study animal communication, I knew I was psychic, but, it's like you don't know what that really means when you're growing up, and you know that you know a little bit more than other people, and a lot of things that you do seem to know, as I said, you just keep kind of under the rug. Anyway, when I was 40, and my husband finally got me a dog that I had been longing for 20 years, and it ended up being 2 dogs.